question for you. You watch English movies and understand them. You read English posts and follow them easily. You even catch jokes in English sometimes. But the moment someone asks you a question in English, your brain goes completely silent.
You know the answer. You feel the answer somewhere inside you, but the words just will not come out.
If that sounds familiar, this episode is exactly for you because today we are answering one of the biggest questions English learners ask us. Why do I understand English perfectly but still cannot speak it?
And more importantly, we are going to tell you exactly what to do about it, step by step.
Welcome to Easy English Learning. I'm Bellin.
And I'm Clive. Let's get into it.
Clive, before we start, I want to ask you something honest. Did you ever personally have this problem? You know, understanding English fine but freezing when you had to speak?
Oh yes, absolutely. I remember one specific moment very clearly. I was sitting in an English class, understanding everything the teacher said, every single word. I was honestly feeling quite proud of myself.
That sounds like a really good feeling. So what happened?
Well, the good feeling lasted until the teacher pointed directly at me and said, "Clive, tell the class what you think."
Oh no, and what did you do?
I sat in complete silence. My brain had all the words, but my mouth somehow forgot how to work. I just sat there smiling like I had absolutely no idea what was happening.
The confused smile. I know that smile. It is a classic survival technique.
Very effective. Nobody ever asks follow-up questions when you smile like that.
Yeah, but jokes aside, this is such a common experience. And there is a real reason it happens. It is not random, and it is definitely not because you are bad at English. There is actual science behind this.
Okay, but jokes aside, this is such a common experience, and there is a real reason it happens. It is not random, and it is definitely not because you are bad at English. There is actual science behind this.
So, Clive, let me ask you this. Why do you think this happens? Why can someone understand English perfectly but still not be able to speak it?
Great question. And the answer is actually simpler than most people expect. Understanding English and speaking English are two completely different skills. They live in different parts of your brain, and they need different kinds of practice.
That is such an important point. So, can you give us a simple picture of that difference?
Sure, think of it like this. Reading a recipe and actually cooking the food are two very different things. You can read a recipe perfectly and still burn the food when you try to cook it. Understanding English is like reading the recipe. Speaking English is like cooking. And most learners only practice reading the recipe, but they never actually cook.
I love that picture. So, in simple words, what are those two different skills called?
In language learning, we call them passive skills and active skills. Passive skills are listening and reading. English coming into you. Active skills are speaking and writing. English coming out of you. Most learners train their passive skills very well, but their active skills, especially speaking, get almost no practice at all.
So, when the moment to speak arrives, the active muscle is simply weak. Not because the person is not smart, just because that specific muscle was never trained.
Exactly right. And here is one more way to think about it. Imagine you want to learn swimming. You read every book about swimming. You watch champion swimmers on YouTube every single day. You study the arm movements, the breathing, the technique. Then someone puts you in the water.
And you still cannot swim. Because reading about swimming is completely different from actually swimming.
Precisely, because swimming is a doing skill, not just a knowing skill. And speaking English is the same. You only get better by actually doing it.
And the really good news is the English is already inside you. The vocabulary is there. The grammar understanding is there. You just need to train your mouth and brain to work together and bring it out.
There is actually a nice idiom for this. Knowing something in your head is not the same as having it in your hands. It means real skill lives in practice, not just knowledge. A carpenter knows how to build a table not because they read about it, but because their hands have done it hundreds of times.
And our mouths need that same kind of repetition with English. Okay, Clive, I want to share a story now because I think this will feel very familiar to a lot of people listening.
Please go ahead. I always find these stories really powerful.
Meet Priya. She is 26 years old, works in IT support, and is smart and confident in her own language. Priya had been learning English for 3 years. She watched English shows every evening, read English articles every morning. Her listening was genuinely excellent.
So, she sounds like a really strong and dedicated learner. What was the problem?
The problem was that every time she needed to speak English, at work, on a phone call with a foreign colleague, her mind went completely blank. She described it like this, 𝐘𝐨𝐮'𝐫𝐞. The words are all there. I can see them, but it feels like they are behind glasses. I can look at them, but I cannot reach them.
Behind glass. That is such an honest and painful way to describe it. So, did she think there was something wrong with her?
She did, yes. She thought it meant she was simply not talented enough, that other people were naturally better at speaking than her. But of course, that was not true at all. Her problem was not talent. Her problem was that she had only trained one half of her English, the receiving half, but never the sending half.
So, what did she decide to do about it?
She made one small but very important change. Every evening, instead of just passively watching her English show, she pressed pause every few minutes and repeated the dialogue out loud, in her own voice, copying the rhythm, the emotion, the speed of the characters.
That is interesting. So, she was using the same show she already loved, just in a different, more active way?
Exactly. Same show, different approach. At first, it felt a little silly and she laughed at herself, but she kept going. And after about 3 weeks, something shifted. When she spoke English at work, the words came faster. The pause between thinking and speaking became shorter. The glass was starting to crack.
And did people around her notice the change?
Yes. 2 months later, her manager commented that her English communication had noticeably improved. And here's the most important part. Priya had not learned one single new grammar rule in those 2 months. She had simply started using what she already had.
The words were always behind the glass. She just finally found a way to reach through it. Okay, so how do we fix this? Belen, what are the practical steps our listeners can actually take?
3 tips, simple, specific, and you can start today. Tip 1, shadow English every day for 5 minutes. Shadowing means you listen to natural English and repeat it out loud, either at the same time or just after. You copy the words, the speed, and the rhythm.
And where can people actually do this? What should they use?
They can use this podcast, a YouTube video, a short clip from a show they enjoy. Press play, listen to one sentence, press pause, then repeat that sentence out loud. This trains the mouth and brain to work together and builds what teachers call muscle memory. Muscle memory means your body learns to do something without your brain needing to think hard every time. Like riding a bicycle. At first, you think about every movement, but later, your body just knows. Shadowing gives your mouth that same automatic feeling with English.
5 minutes a day sounds very manageable. What is tip 2?
Tip 2, answer questions out loud instead of in your head. Most learners hear a question in English and answer it silently, inside their own mind. That keeps the answer behind the glass. Instead, say your answer out loud, even when you are completely alone.
Can you give a simple example of how that looks in real life?
Of course, you hear someone on a podcast ask, "What did you do yesterday?" Instead of just thinking the answer, say it. out loud to your empty room. Your room will not judge you, and if your cat looks at you strangely, well, that is just what cats do.
Cats judge everyone equally. That is very true. And tip 3?
Tip 3, use the 3 sentence rule when you speak. When you speak English, in conversation or in practice, always try to say at least 3 sentences before you stop.
Why 3 specifically? What is the idea behind that?
Most learners give one-word answers because one word feels safe. Good. Yes. Fine. But short answers keep you stuck. 3 sentences forces your brain to keep going, to find the next word and push past the first uncomfortable pause. For example, someone asks, "How was your day?" Instead of just saying, "Good," try, "It was good, thank you." "I finished a big project at work. I felt really tired, but also quite proud." 3 sentences. That is all.
And there is a great idiom that fits perfectly here. Don't shut the door before the guest arrives. It means don't stop before the good part comes. In speaking, the good part, the flow, the confidence, comes right after you push past that first uncomfortable moment.
Perfectly said. And the more you practice 3 sentences, the easier 4 becomes. Then 5, then full natural conversation.
Okay? Vocabulary time. 4 important words from today's episode. Belen, do you want to take us through them?
Absolutely. And listeners, do not just hear these words. Make a sentence with one of them, right now or in the comments below. Word 1, passive. Passive means receiving something without actively producing anything back. Listening and reading are passive English skills. My passive English is strong. I understand almost everything I hear.
Word 2, active. Active means producing something, putting your energy out. Speaking and writing are active English skills. I need to work on my active English. I want to speak more confidently every day.
Word 3, fluent. Fluent means speaking smoothly and naturally without long stops or searching hard for words. Fluent does not mean perfect. It means the words flow easily and naturally. I am not fluent yet, but every single day I get a little closer.
Word 4, confidence. Confidence means believing in yourself enough to try. And here is the important thing about confidence in English. It does not come before you speak. It comes after. You do not wait for confidence and then speak. You speak, and then confidence follows. My English confidence grew after I started practicing out loud every day.
Your challenge, choose one of these 4 words and make your own sentence with it. Say it out loud right now, or write it in the comments below, because making your own sentence is active practice. And active practice, as we learned today, is exactly what builds your speaking.
Belen, before we finish, can you quickly pull everything together for our listeners?
Of course. If you understand English but cannot speak it, you are not broken. You are not untalented. You have simply been training one half of your English while the other half has been waiting. The speaking half needs to be used, not just studied. Actually used. 3 ways to start today. Shadow English for 5 minutes and copy real spoken English out loud. Answer questions out loud and move your answers from your head to your mouth. And use the 3 sentence rule. Keep the door open every time you speak.
And remember Priya's story. The words were already there behind glass. She did not learn new English. She simply practiced reaching through the glass, and it cracked, and then it broke, and now she speaks.
Your glass can break too. And it starts today. Write 1 sentence in the comments right now. About your day, something you learned, anything at all. 1 sentence is your first crack in the glass.
And if this episode helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with one person whose English is stuck behind glass right now, because that person needs to hear this today.
This was Easy English Learning. I'm Belen.
And I'm Clive. See you in the next one. Take care.
Bye, everyone.